It is time to roast the ballet teachers. So here are 10 ballet teacher stereotypes that you have either seen in your own ballet journey or on social media. Let's have a laugh. Number 1, the teacher with deep anger issues. I know we shouldn't really be laughing at it, but today we're gonna do it anyways. You know, the teacher that comes into the classroom and maybe initially they seem kind of fine, but as soon as the students start doing anything that teacher snaps, the mood changes completely, the hands start gesturing around, they're screaming, they're throwing students out of the classroom. The really old-fashioned types. You know, I wish I could say that there's not that many of them around in this day and age, but unfortunately there still are, and I'm sure that you've either had one of these types of teachers yourself or you've seen one of them on social media. Number 2, the teacher that just loves pulling and grabbing the students. You know, there are a lot of those as well. Whatever you do, they have to take the leg. They have to excessively pull the leg to the side. They also love, this is one of my followers that said this, and I was like, yeah, this actually happens. They grab the arm, they're pulling the students by the arms. Again, it's something that teachers used to do back in the good old days, and they shouldn't really be doing it this excessively now. Of course, touching is necessary in ballet. You can't just not correct a student by touching them whatsoever, but this excessive pulling and grabbing, and this is not something that we really need in this day and age. Number 3, the over-caffeinated teacher. You know, they have their first class of the day. Maybe you see them throughout the day. During the first class, they have a big cup of coffee. Then before their second class, you see them going to get some more coffee. And then with every single class, you just constantly see them holding the coffee. And then by the end of the day, they've had so much coffee that they're kind of like hyperactive and they're shaking around a little bit. So every single class for that teacher has to come with a coffee. Number 4, the teacher that does everything full out. So sometimes it kind of seems like the class isn't even about the teacher looking at the students, but the teacher wanting to almost prove to the students, or perhaps prove to themselves, that they can still do everything full out. So it doesn't matter what it is, tendus, adage, grand allegro, that teacher is always at the front going like 120% full out, as if it was some kind of audition class. Number 5, on the contrary to number 4, it's the teacher that can barely stand up. You know, they have to show something and you kind of see them wanting to get off the chair, but then they kind of like grab their back or grab their leg. They're in so much pain. They're so broken, unfortunately, from their ballet career. They just cannot even get up the chair anymore. And it's the kind of teacher that is just gonna keep sitting there throughout the class because, you know, they tried once. It didn't work out for them to stand up. So they're the one that is going to mark the whole class with their arms. Number 6, the teacher that constantly forgets their own combination and forgets their own counts. I've had these teachers a lot, and I'm sure a lot of them like come in prepared and they probably know what they were supposed to be doing, but then, you know, perhaps they get nervous in front of the classroom. Like, this does happen, but then every single time they show you the combination, it's all fine, and then they have to kind of repeat it because you usually show it twice. The second time is faster, but you do show it twice, and the second time you can either see in their eyes that they're like, uh-oh, I have no clue what I did, or they cover it up, and the second time that they show it, they change the combination, and then everyone is like, and you see the students noticing because they know what she did the first time or he did the first time. And then all of a sudden it's different, or all of a sudden the counts are completely different. So I'm sure that you've probably had one of those teachers throughout your ballet journey. Number 7, the teacher who thinks that every single class has to be a choreographic masterpiece. So it's the kinds of teachers that maybe forget that a class, yes, it needs to be challenging, but it is the warm-up for the day, especially for professional dancers. And they completely forget about it, and they make the class incredibly hard. They make the combinations incredibly long, as if they were literally like a piece in a performance, and no one really knows what is happening. And then they spend so much time of the class trying to explain the combination, repeat the combination, because everyone is like scratching their head like, wait, this tendu combination is 2 minutes long, like what is happening here? Number 8, and this one is a little bit sad. The teacher that looks like they just would rather be anywhere else than teaching that class. And like I said, it's a little bit sad because I think a lot of dancers go into teaching because they feel like it's the closest thing to professionally dancing that they can do after they've finished their careers, but they're not actually passionate about teaching. But trust me, that really shows in the ballet studio. The students will notice if you kind of have this face like there's no emotion and you're not giving away any energy whatsoever, and it really does look like you'd rather even be, I don't know, running a marathon than giving that specific ballet class. Number 9, the teacher that loves snapping their fingers or clapping all the time. Don't get me wrong, as a teacher, I understand that sometimes in terms of keeping the tempo, like snapping your fingers or clapping is necessary, but I'm talking the kinds of teachers that do it throughout the class, non-stop, and so loud to the point that you cannot even hear the music. Like, the tempo is important, but take it down a notch. And number 10, the last one. This is kind of a scary one. You know, the teacher that just sits there, doesn't say anything, complete silence, maybe even almost throughout the class, and is just staring at you. And it's not even just staring at you, but they have that pierced look, like they're like staring through your soul. Sometimes when a teacher actually doesn't say anything, it could be even scarier than a teacher that is yelling the corrections out loud or yelling at the students. So this one is definitely not one of my favorite types, because you never know what they're thinking. And once again, I'm sure that you've either seen one of those or you've had one of these teachers yourself. So here we go, guys. We've roasted the ballet teachers. I'm sure there are more types of ballet teachers, so perhaps I do need to make a part 2. But please join the conversation. Write in the comments below, which kind of teachers have you had? Which are your least favorites? Which are your most favorites? And let's talk and have a laugh about it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and as per usual, I'm gonna ask you to give it a thumbs up, to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and see you again very soon.